3 days after my husband's funeral, I got a voicemail from him. It came in at 2:14 a.m., the time he usually came home from late meetings. My phone vibrated on the nightstand, screen lighting up with a number I knew by heart. Ryan Cole. My heart stopped. I stared at the screen, waiting for it to disappear, for my mind to correct the impossible. But it didn't. His name was there, glowing in the dark like a ghost refusing to rest. When the call ended, a notification popped up. New voicemail. For a minute I couldn't breathe. My hands trembled as I pressed play. Static filled the room. Then his voice. Shaky. Urgent. Live. If you get this, I don't have much time. Don't trust anyone from the office. Especially Marcus. He knows. Please. Look in the place where we first watched the sunset together. You'll understand everything. Sorry. I love you. The message ended with heavy breathing, and a faint sound like a door slamming. Then silence. I replayed it 3 times. The voice, the fear, it was real. I wasn't dreaming. But Ryan was dead. The next morning I went to the police. They looked at me with pity, like I was another widow refusing to let go. Detective Ruiz leaned back in his chair, sighing. Mrs. Cole, I understand grief can play tricks on us. Sometimes voicemails get delayed or hackers. It was time-stamped 3 days after his funeral, I snapped. You think I can't read a date? He frowned, typing something on his computer. There's no active signal from your husband's number. The SIM was deactivated after the accident. Accident. That word again. Ryan's Tesla had gone off Mulholland Drive at midnight. No witnesses. No skid marks. The car had burned. They said it was a malfunction, but Ryan had been obsessive about safety. I never believed it. Now this voicemail, it wasn't grief. It was proof. Ruiz gave me a sympathetic nod. I'll have cyber look into it, but don't get your hopes up. Too late. My hopes had already turned into questions. At the funeral, Ryan's business partner, Marcus Reed, was the first to hug me. Slick smile, expensive suit, crocodile tears. Emma, if you need anything, I'm here. Ryan was like a brother. Now his name echoed from the voicemail. Ryan's dying warning. Marcus. That night, I replayed the message again with headphones. Beneath Ryan's words, I caught something I'd missed before. A faint second voice. Will. Muffled. 2 words. Not yet. Paused, heart pounding. Someone had been with him when he recorded that message. The next day, I drove to the place he mentioned. The spot where we'd first watched the sunset together. Point de Mai, Malibu. It was our escape back when Ryan's startup was just an idea and we still believed the world could be kind. The ocean was steel blue under a gray sky. I walked along the cliffs, tears stinging my eyes. Then, behind a half-buried driftwood log, something caught my eye. A small waterproof case. My name scratched into the lid. I opened it with shaking hands. Inside was a USB drive and a folded note. The note said, "If you're reading this, I didn't make it. Plug this into my laptop. Password, Eclipse." I drove home like I was being chased. Plugged the drive into Ryan's MacBook. Entered the password. A single file appeared. Truth to. Click play. Ryan's face filled the screen. He looked exhausted, haunted. Behind him I recognized his office. If you're watching this, things went wrong. I found something inside our accounts. Marcus and Huxley. They're laundering money through shell companies. Millions. I told Marcus I was going to the board. The next day my brakes failed. If I die, it won't be an accident. Don't trust anyone. Keep this safe. The video ended abruptly with a loud knock and Ryan turning toward the camera. Then static. I sat frozen. He'd known. He'd planned for this. My tears came hot and fast, but under them something harder rose. Anger. By morning I decided to finish what Ryan started. I copied the files, encrypted them, and searched through his emails. There were coded references, hidden folders, conversations about Project Orion, funding rounds, urgent transfers. Marcus and Daniel Huxley, the investor Ryan mentioned, were both involved. Then my screen flickered. A system warning popped up. Unauthorized access detected. My mouse froze. Windows closed one by one. The files began deleting themselves. No, 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 no. Within seconds, everything vanished. The drive went blank. Someone was inside my system. I yanked out the USB and shut the laptop. 5 minutes later, someone knocked on my door. It was Marcus. He stood on the porch, holding coffee and wearing a mask of concern. "Emma," he said softly. "You weren't answering my calls. I just wanted to check in." I forced a smile. "Thanks. Just trying to get through the days." He stepped inside before I could refuse. "I can't imagine what you're feeling." Ryan was brilliant. We were on the verge of something huge before he died. Finished. His eyes flickered. "Yeah, tragic." I offered him tea, buying time while I set my phone on record mode behind a photo frame. "So, Marcus," I said casually, "Ryan mentioned some issues at work before the accident. Something about funds." He chuckled. He was paranoid near the end. Overworked. Said people were out to get him. You know how stress can twist things. He left soon after, but the way he avoided my eyes told me everything. That night my house alarm went off at 3 a.m. The back door was open. Footprints on the floor. Someone had been inside. I grabbed my keys and ran. I checked into a cheap motel on Sunset Boulevard under a fake name. Barely slept. My hands shook every time a car passed outside. In the morning, I searched through Ryan's old safe files on his cloud account. That's when I found another folder. "In case I'm gone." Inside was a letter. His handwriting. My tears blurred the words. If I disappear, Marcus is behind it. Don't confront him alone. Find Lacey Brooks at the Herald. She's the only one who can expose them. I've given her part of the evidence already. Trust no one else. I love you, always. I called the number scrawled at the bottom. A woman answered, groggy. Lacey Brooks. Lacey, this is Emma Cole, Ryan's wife. Silence. Then a sharp inhale. Emma. God. I was afraid this would happen. Meet me tonight. 10 p.m. Santa Monica Pier. The pier was almost empty when I arrived. Neon lights flickered over the water, waves crashing below. Lacey appeared out of the shadows, tall, trench coat, tired eyes. I was working with Ryan, she said quickly. He found proof that Marcus and Huxley were using the company as a front. Offshore laundering shell corporations. Ryan was going to hand it to the feds. He told me if anything happened you'd come. Do you have the evidence? She nodded. Half. The rest was with him. But they've been watching me. You can't go home. Car engine revved nearby. Headlights swept over us. Lacey's expression changed fear. They found us. Gunfire erupted. I dropped to the ground as she fell beside me, blood staining her coat. I screamed, but the car sped away before I could see the shooter. Lacey's last words were a whisper. Finish it, Emma. Don't let them win. After that night I stopped being afraid. Became something else. I gathered every piece Ryan left behind, cross-checking bank accounts, phone records, offshore holdings. I rebuilt what was lost. When I had enough, I made one final move. I texted Marcus. We need to talk. I know everything. Meet me where Ryan died. Midnight. Mulholland Drive. The city below glowed like a sea of stars. The wind howled against the cliffs. Marcus arrived in his black Mercedes, smirk on his face. Emma, this is dramatic, even for you. Ryan recorded you, I said. He sent me everything. He laughed. You think anyone will believe that? You're grieving. Unstable. I could tell them you've been harassing me. Save it, I cut in. You sabotaged his car. He stepped closer. He was going to ruin everything. Huxley wanted him gone. I did what I had to do. And that was it, the confession. The sound of sirens rose behind him. Red and blue lights flashed through the trees. Marcus froze. What the hell? I sent your confession live to Lacey's backup server, I said. The police heard everything. Detective Ruiz stepped out of a cruiser, gun drawn. Marcus Reed, you're under arrest for the murder of Ryan Cole. Marcus turned to me, face pale. You! I just pressed play, I said. They took him away screaming. 2 weeks later, I sat on the beach in Santa Monica, watching the sunset bleed gold over the water. The case had gone public. Marcus and Huxley were charged with fraud, conspiracy, and murder. Then, as the tide whispered against my feet, my phone buzzed. Voicemail, Ryan Cole. Froze. The message was short. Different from the first. His voice was calm this time. Hey, if you're hearing this, I guess you found everything. I'm sorry for leaving you with this mess. But I knew you'd find the truth. You always did. Don't let this destroy you. Live, okay? I love you. My throat tightened. Tears blurred the horizon. For the first time since his death, I felt peace. Not because justice was done, but because he'd planned it this way. He knew I'd finish it. I walked into the surf, water cold around my ankles. I set the phone on the tide, watched it drift away, carrying his voice back to the ocean. Goodbye, Ryan, I whispered. I love you too.
If this story gave you chills, hit that like button, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen play out?